Good evening, everybody. Tonight, we're going to kind of concentrate on scanning. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of go through what we want to be looking for those big trades. And then Hunter Smith of Metastock is going to come on. And we are great fans of Metastock. I use Metastock scanning and charting. It's got tons of excellent scanning applications. So as soon as I get done saying what we're going to be looking for, Hunter's going to say, well, this is how we look for them. So, and the reason we're kind of doing this is on the basis that, uh, as we can see right now in the market, obviously we're in an uptrend. Much more different than the trend we had seen over the last 4 months in the market, where the up until this little period right here, where the Dow kept trading down. When we saw this kind of little kicker type signal and the magnitude of that candle, this whole signal right here told us we were probably in an uptrend, and you can combine that with the NASDAQ chart, which was also an inverted hammer followed by a gap up. That told us that we can, that kind of reveals the fact that we can easily analyze what's happening as far as the overall market trend, which is important because obviously if the market is in an uptrend, we want to be predominantly long. If it's in a downtrend, we want to be predominantly short. And if it's in a stage like it was over here, we want to have both long and short positions on. So when this happened, basically what we were trying to find is the most basic brick and mortar element of candlesticks is the signals. We're looking for things like the morning star signal. This is why we recommended BGFV. Morning star signal, close above the T-line, stochastics in the oversold area. So our scanning techniques is very simple. We can put the formulas in for the morning star signal. The strongest of all the signals that we've been going after here recently is the kicker signal. Very simple to describe. Day one opens and closes lower, usually a big candle, closes lower than where it opened. Day two gaps up at or above the previous day's open and goes in the opposite direction. Basically, the investor sentiment has been kicked in the opposite direction, usually creating a very strong uptrend. When I say usually, makes for a very simple technique after that, is you stay long as it stays above the T-line. Same scenario on the video. We closed out in the video over here, but got back in here because there was our kicker signal. You can see what the trajectory was on this stock prior to that. Not very enthusiastic, but the kicker signal will create that very strong uptrend. Let's see. Same scenario. We had made very good money on CWEI until we started seeing some sell signals that closed below the T-line, and then the kicker signal told us we were back above the T-line. You're back in the trade. So essentially, doing the scans, whether we're doing the scans is basically what we're trying to find is obviously in an uptrending market, all boats are going to how do they say it? Rising tide, all boats are going to rise. We're trying to find those boats that are going to rise the fastest. So our recommendation on Lion Gates was the flutter kicker signal through this resistance level. Same scenario. All we have to do is stay long as long as that, as long as we stay above the T-line. JD today in the last couple of days also did this big kicker signal in an uptrend. So Okay. Mike will get you taken care of. We also have other signals that we can easily formulate. The left-right combo is very simple. A doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal is a very, very strong indication that the investor sentiment's going positive. Whether you're doing it at a bottom of a trend or during a pattern. Another left-right combo. And where did this occur? After a major series of dojis and telling us a left-right combo, which we know is a very strong signal, keeping you up above the T-line, told us we were probably in the next wave to the upside. Left-right combo on Abercrombie Fitch. Gap up. Strong move. It pulled back a little bit, but notice what happened yesterday. Another left-right combo. Right smack dab on the 50-day moving average. What did that tell us? Not only was that going to give us more upside, but we could see that there was a J-hook pattern in progress. Another pattern that can easily be identified. A left-right combo on ANW. Little left-right combo confirms the next day. Puts you in a very strong price trend. We're also looking for that force that tells us we're in a very strong uptrend, such as a candlestick signal and gaps, which is easily formulated. This is the Labu chart. Bullish Harami followed by a gap up. Stochastics coming up. Told us the probabilities are extremely strong. You're going to be in an uptrend. So if you know your biotechs are in a uptrend because the ETF is showing you, we're looking for the strongest signals. This is what we call our best friend signal. That's a doji in the oversold area, followed by a gap up. That, again, allows you to identify where not only which stocks are going to be in an uptrend, but which stocks are going to be in an extremely strong uptrend. So this all allows you to find the strong signals, again, doing very simple scan techniques, so that once you have that in your watch list, say, all right, this looks good. Now you can apply everything else that you want to analyze. Not only was this a gap up best friend, but it broke this downward trend channel, broke the 50. This gave us all sorts of indications that we should be buying either here, if we saw it quick enough, or definitely right here. This is Staples. You can see what the nature of the trend was prior to this doji gap up, your best friend, and or your left-right combo, and just allows you to find which moves are going to have the best or biggest moves. So not only do the signals can they be formulated, but we can also formulate the patterns, such as fry pan bottom pattern. That's hard to formulate, but visually we can identify it. Oh, I forgot to. Darn, I was going to tell you to buy this one tomorrow, and I forgot to put the, is this ocular? I think that's OCLR. But notice what it's done. There's kind of our fry pan bottom. And notice where it is right now, right at the beginning of the fry pan bottom with a doji. So this makes an entry strategy extremely simple once you know what should happen coming out of a fry pan bottom and what we know about the simple rules of a doji. The price is usually going to move in the direction of how they open it. So if they open up positive, okay, thank you, Paul. If it opens positive, what do we got going? We got a doji sandwich breakout confirming that we're heading higher. And what else can we analyze from this? What do we know coming out of a fry pan bottom? We're going to have a very strong price move. Where's our first target? can probably run your trajectory right up here with what the existing trend was prior to the consolidation, so you can calculate what your upside potential will be. Another one, Lennar, big fry pan bottom. And notice what it did today. Off the T line, gapped up through the 50, telling us the 50 is not going to act as a resistance. We know if we're buying on positive trading tomorrow, at least our first target is up here at the 200-day moving average. So the reason I'm pointing this out is, if you can, do you set stops on any? Well, once you're in the trade, yeah, then it's very easy to set stops, Alvin, and that's a whole different training process. So before I flip over to Hunter, fry pan bottom is you're looking at the fry pan bottom, and it's called a fry pan bottom because the Japanese race traders say it looks like a big fry pan bottom. But we know what once we have identified the patterns and the signals, not only did the Japanese rice traders tell us what or identify what the pattern looked like, but they also described what the investor sentiment was that created that pattern. So, part of the process, or one of the important parts of the process, is number one, knowing what patterns and signals you're looking for, and then two, having a scanning process to find them for you. So before I have Hunter come on, I just want to remind everybody, we're going to do our basic candlestick training on the weekend of December 3rd and 4th. And that's kind of your bread and butter, bricks and mortar, learning how to use candlesticks. And then what information Hunter is going to provide is, once you learn the signals or know what to do with the signals, the Metastock software will find them for you. So now, instead of you having to hunt for them, once you found them, now you can make your evaluation of which chart is the best one for the next trade. So let me do this. I'm going to flip off Jim and Hunter. You go ahead and bring up your slides.
All right, give me just a second. I see that okay, hopefully, right?
All right. Yeah, we'll let Jim, everybody can see it. Jim, you need to get set up again for capturing his. All right, everybody, this is Hunter Smith with Metastock. Again, we are very, very recommend Metastock very highly. Not only do they have excellent information on their system, but they have an excellent backup team that if you ever have any problems, which you rarely do, but if you have questions on how to use the system effectively, they're right there and they're very helpful. So that's one of the major benefits. Not only are they a very good system, but they've got very good personnel to help you utilize the system. So with that, Hunter, welcome to the Candlestick Forum. We're, again, anxious to see all the different new features that Metastock has put into their system.
Great, wonderful. Thanks for the introduction, Steve. We love working with you. For a little background here, we've actually worked with Steve for quite a while now, and primarily one of the other gentlemen here at Metastock, Jeff Gibby, which I'm sure you guys have heard him present or seen him present before, et cetera, has been able to take all of Steve's patterns and his methodology and put it within Metastock. And you know, this is actually one of our best selling add-ons. So you know, we obviously put a lot of time into it, and we love this add-on because of how intricate it does get, and really how it lays out all of the patterns for you, etc. Now, switch over here. Now, what we've been able to do, and Steve was alluding to this a little bit earlier about scanning. Scanning is a very, very important part because you don't want to spend all of your time looking through charts. You don't want to, let's say that you're trading the S&P 500. Well, there's 505 instruments on the S&P 500. So you don't want to go through 505 charts. No one has that much time. So what we want to concentrate on with Metastock is really advancing your workflow and helping you do more work in a shorter period of time more effectively. So we've been able, as you see listed here, you actually have all of Steve's patterns here, and they're actually broken down into 4 categories. First off, it comes with 4 explorations. So actually, this is what I want to do. I don't like PowerPoints too much. So I actually just kind of want to get into Metastock a little bit and show you how it works. So first off, when you open up Metastock, you come to the Power Console, and typically my workflow is going to start with an exploration. For example, again, if I want to look across the S&P 500 for a specific pattern, what we can do here is actually select that. So if we come into the exploration tool, all of Steve's patterns that you can search for are actually within these 4 explorations under CPS. So you have these 4 here. Okay. Now, the first thing you're going to look at is you're going to say, okay, well, I want to focus on a specific pattern. So all you have to do is hover over, for example, the Doji Dynamite, and it's going to pop up this screen. I hope you guys can see that okay. And it's going to list out all the patterns that specific exploration is going to search for. Same thing with any of the other explorations, and it even tells you that, for example, the J-hook patterns, you want to run with at least 1,000 records for it to work properly. You can come down here to the power signals, which are the bearish kicker, the bearish flutter kick, the bullish kicker, and obviously the opposite signals there. So it's going to walk you through exactly what you're searching for. Let's see here. A little bit better? Hopefully a little bit better. I want to make that a little bit bigger for you guys. Okay. So with this, first off, let's say that we wanted to take a look at, take a look for bearish kickers and bullish kickers. So we're going to go ahead and select the CPS power signals, which, again, if we hover over it, it will show you exactly what exactly the patterns are that it's looking for. We're going to come down here to our available instruments, and I'm going to pick something like the S&P 500, something simple. Okay, so we'll come down here. We're going to go ahead and select the S&P 500. So that's 505 instruments. On this side, we're going to want to make sure that we concentrate on how many records we're actually loading, how much data we're looking at to find these signals. So I have 1,250 records. I'm using daily bars, but you also have the ability with Metastock Real-Time to search for these signals intraday periodicities, as well as end-of-day periodicities like your daily, weekly, monthly, etc. But for the sake of the presentation, I'll just leave it at daily. So we go ahead and click on the Summary tab, and what this is telling us is exactly what we're looking for. So we have our 505 instruments right here on the S&P 500, and we're looking for the CPS power signals. So let's go ahead and start our exploration. Now, looking at 1,250 records, we're looking for 4 specific patterns on 505 instruments. We're actually going to crank through this in just about 1 minute. So instead of looking at 505 charts, even if you have the signals on there, which I'll show you here in just a second, Steve's signals that map out the actual candle patterns for you. Even if you were to look through, half of those, you would spend a ridiculous amount of time. So this exploration is going to save you a significant amount of time. This little status window is going to pop up, but also if we do other stuff on our computer, if we're looking at charts, other charts in Metastock, etc., once this finishes, it's going to pop up a box, no matter where you're at, saying, hey, your exploration is finished. So we're almost finished here, about 90% complete. We have rejected about 99%. So this window pops up. So we're only going to have a couple here. But the way this lays it out, like I said, we have multiple patterns within each exploration. So these columns at the top, drag this, just make sure you guys can see it okay. These columns are actually going to show you exactly what signal is coming through, is striking it. Basically, if, let's say, I'm looking for the bearish kicker only, I can just double click here, and if it has a 1 value, that means there was a bearish kicker. If it has a 0, that means there wasn't. Okay, so we can go through here and select exactly what we're looking for. So you've narrowed, let's say, 505 instruments down to 3 that have the signals that you're looking for. So let's say we're looking for a bullish kicker. DR Horton. Let's take a look at that one. So I'm going to go ahead and X out of this. Now, another important part of this is being able to take a look at these symbols, but be able to actually see the specific candle patterns. So let's go ahead and open up this instrument, and right here actually the what comes back from your exploration will actually pop into this last exploration results right here. So you don't have to write down symbols or make a note of them or anything like that. It'll just pop up automatically. We're going to come over here and we're going to attach an expert, and I'll show you exactly what that means here momentarily. But we're looking at 250 records, again on a daily chart. I'm going to stick with a daily chart. Obviously, if you trade intraday, then you can change the periodicities as well. So let's go ahead and open that chart. Make that full screen for you. Answer a couple of questions here real quick. Yes, you can search for signals back a few days. You can definitely do that. And it really just depends on the Amazon. Really just depends what pattern you're looking for. If it did actually come through with one of these patterns, it would show up on that exploration list. Just depends on specifically what you're looking for, what pattern. For example, if you're looking at for a bullish kicker, and that was the pattern that happened, if you do an exploration, yes, it would pop up on the list. Now, so first thing that you notice here is all of the, and let's change these to candles. There we go. That looks better. So with this system, we are actually able to identify the specific patterns for you. Now, if you have been working with Steve for a long period of time and you know the patterns by heart and exactly what you're looking for, that's wonderful. If you're still trying to commit some of these patterns to memory and exactly what they mean and what course of action you should take, sometimes it's really helpful to have a little bit of a guide, kind of a walkthrough. And this is really where our expert commentary comes into play. So I just right-click there. I clicked on commentary under the expert advisor. And this is actually Steve's commentary that we wrote based off of his system. Now I can come through and select any of these signals, this bearish kicker, and it's going to say, okay, well, this signal is a bearish kicker. This is what the bearish kicker means. The specific criteria that created the bearish kicker, and obviously what your course of action from there. So let's take a look at the most recent signal, which is what generated on the exploration. This was a bullish kicker. And on this, it will give you, again, the specific criteria plus enhancements. For example, things that make that a little bit more of a strong signal. So if the kicker signal forms at a major support level, then this signal is much more powerful. The bigger the dark candle at the bottom, the more powerful the reverse is. So we're looking at that reverse, a reversal pattern to kind of kick this, this stock going up. So really walking you through what each and every single one of these patterns do. Now we also have put in a template that has all of the other tools that Steve has, so we can actually just right click. We're going to apply the template, click on CPS. That was the wrong one. And come down here. Don't know why I attached that other one. So it actually gives you all of the lines, all of the patterns, etc., that Steve looks for. And again, you can attach that commentary. So with this, we can take a large amount of instruments. We can take 500, we can take 1,000, 2,000 instruments, however many you want. Search for a very specific pattern. As you saw, we took 505. We slimmed it down to 3 instruments based off of 4 different patterns. And then you can actually come down here and look at the signals by attaching that commentary, and it will walk you specifically through exactly what the signals mean, etc. So, again, we've taken a lot of time with the candle profit system, and I think that it is really a well put together system for your workflow. If you follow Steve, this is going to walk you through every single aspect of what he teaches. This, again, in our experience, has been one of the best-selling add-ons. Steve does wonderful work. And so to have the ability to take his system and put it within Metastock so that you can really be walked through your trades and the different signals, etc., we feel is very powerful, and most clients that we talk to feel that way as well. Now, just taking a look here, yes, you can search your own watch lists. So if you've created lists within Metastock, you're able to just search across that list for it. If you, let's say that you only trade 10 instruments primarily, you can just search that 10. You can structure it however you want. Okay. Now, one of the things that I did want to cover, because Metastock has actually, we've come out with a new release, Metastock 15. We're very, very excited with it. It's been kind of a big deal for us. I'm sure that in this room we have a lot of old Metastock users, new Metastock users, people that are overall new to Metastock. One of the things that we always really want to focus on is what does the user need? What does the end client need? So our last upgrade that we've released has been completely user focused. In other words, the feedback of what all of our clients wanted, we took that and we put it in Metastock 15. So if you're coming from an older version, you're going to like this a lot because it's bringing back some of the key features. For example, offline mode we have brought back, so you have the ability to do your analysis anywhere in the world at any time. You're no longer tethered to the internet, basically. So you can actually go through, use our brand new downloader, download, let's say, we wanted to do the exact same exploration that we just did, but we're on an airplane. Before we jump on the plane, we download all 505 instruments on the S&P 500. When we're in the air, we can run that scan, any of the scans, we can do system tests, we can do all of our analysis without having to be connected to the internet. Also plays a big role with individuals that don't have as good of an internet connection, so that your scans are actually, your explorations are moving significantly faster. So like I said, we brought back the downloader as well. You have the ability to use local data, in other words, any data provider you want. We have also made some tweaks with the actual time frames. that you can do explorations in. For example, if we go back into Metastock and we want to do an exploration on, let's say, a 2-day bar, we can actually come down here. Instead of just a 1-day bar, we can click on Custom, and we have our interval set at day, and we can bump up the multiplier to whatever. Let's say we're looking at 3-day bars. And now my exploration is going to run on 3-day bars. So this is going to be really, really good for you if you do mix up your time frames a little bit. We've added that in. You've always been able to do that within the basic charting, but now you have the ability to do that with the exploration tools, the system tester, as well as the forecaster tool. So we've added that back into Metastock. And again, what we want to do is focus on really what the trader needs. We pride ourselves on being built by a trader for traders. So this system, incorporated with Steve's tools and his methodology, works very well. And you can see how you can move through this workflow in a very, very short period of time. I talk a whole heck of a lot, especially when I present. And I've only been going for probably 20 minutes or so. And again, we took that very large amount of instruments and narrowed it down to 3 candidates that we wanted to look at, and we looked at a couple of different signals and what they mean while I was talking the whole time. So imagine what your workflow is like at home when you're at the end of the day you're running your scans, etc. So it's very, very streamlined. Cruise through a couple of questions here. The program of Metastock is actually downloadable. Once you order Metastock, we send you a link and you can just download it. You can download it to multiple computers, and it's actually a pretty fast process. You can search for, that's actually a very good question. I want to read this. Can we search for all patterns and signals, or do you have to search for one at a time? You can absolutely search for all signals. So if I wanted to come in here and run an exploration on all of the patterns within the candle profit system, I just select all 4, and then here is where I'm going to select what instruments I'm looking at. So again, the S&P 500. We just hit Start Exploration, and then what it will do is that those columns will actually expand, and it will give you all of the candle patterns at the top, not just the 4 that we were looking at earlier. Yes, James, you're exactly right. You took the words out of my mouth. You can just check all 4 boxes and run that exploration for all the signals. And let's see. Yes, we do have our own data feed powered through Thomson Reuters. Data link, if you're an end-of-day user, icon if you need intraday data. Probably some of the best data that you can actually get your hands on, but we did want our clients to have the ability to import other data, use any data source they wanted. Yes, you can specify price, volume, weekly option, etc. Now, also, I did want to note, and I think Steve's touched on this a little bit earlier, Metastock works across all markets, all time frames, all periodicities, so it's not limited. And really, that's all about basically all I have this evening. Kind of wanted to take you through that quick workflow using Steve's systems. Again, this is structured so that you can move through this workflow in a very, very short period of time. Steve gave us a really big compliment about our support staff, which we really do have what we like to think is the best in the industry. Most of the individuals that deal with our support staff will pretty much tell you the same. We have support available through online chat or over the phone. I'm always happy to walk you straight through using the system, installing it, and any questions that you do have. We try to stay a little bit out of the trading side of it, to be honest with you. We like to provide that toolbox and let the professionals teach you how to trade, like Steve. So if you have any questions about how to use the signals and interpretation, etc., those always get referred to Steve, and obviously he's a great help in walking you through and answering all those questions. Yes, Canadian data is available. Mm-hmm. You can also narrow the search. Metastock, the question that was asked is, can we narrow the search by market cap, volume, etc.? Metastock is, a lot of it is very, very open source, so you can actually create your own scans. It's very programmable. So if you have a specific market cap price, or you're looking at it, specific volume, you can actually write that in the coding of Metastock very, very easily. We have a great coding department, so if you have any questions on that, they can always assist you as well. That can run seamlessly with Steve's pattern searches. So for example, if I'm looking for stocks that are priced between $50 and $100, let's say, I can actually search through, let's say 2,000 stocks for the Doji Dynamite patterns, and then narrow that search even further down by stocks that are priced between $50 and $100, or you can do it based off of volume, etc. So you can narrow that search even further. Yes, Peggy, I didn't have a lot of time to use the drawing tools, etc. But for example, if you're on a chart, this chart, for example, we're going to go ahead and exit out of the commentary. You can draw support and resistance lines. So all of your drawing lines are right on this side. You can see that. Okay. So if I wanted to do a support and resistance, let's say I wanted to do a support line right here, I could just drag and drop that. You can also do trend lines with this. So I can draw my trend line, gives me a little pencil tool, draw my trend right there. We also have other pre-built tools like our Fibonacci's, Fibonacci retracement, for example. I can draw it like that very, very easily, just drag and drop. Now, anytime I do draw something, I can actually change the parameters of it just by clicking on it. So, for example, I drew a trend line right here. If I want it to start at a specific date or a specific price, etc., I can change that. I can also change the style, the weight, the color, different things like that. Come in here to the Fibonacci retracement lines. I can change the percentages if I wanted to. So those are a few different options that you can do with the drawing tools. Yes, mark basic GAN angles are available as well. We do have the GAN tools, GAN lines, fan, and grid down there as well. Yes, they can be. So your data can be exported to Excel, and it's pretty seamlessly. Now it's a lot of times people will actually import their data from .csv, so we work pretty closely with the Excel program so that you can actually export data, etc. All right, guys, that's about all I have this evening. I wanted to kind of keep it short and sweet for you guys. I'll hang around if there are any other questions. But I really appreciate Steve for having us on again. We love working with you, Steve. We love speaking inside your forum, and please let us know, guys, if you have questions about the program. We're always very, very easy to contact. Also, you can contact Steve as well. All right, so I'll wrap up with that. Again, guys, let me know if you have questions. Thanks for having us, and as always, happy trading. Oh, by the way, go to that link that's in the box right now, metastock.com/candlestick forum A. Give you a lot of more information about the candle profit system add-on.
Thank you very much, Hunter. Very good stuff. And I say very good stuff. I'm always impressed with the amount of information that and the capabilities that Metastock has for not only scanning for the best trades, but doing your own research and doing your own analysis. They've got tons of technical analysis information, and it's very easy to use. So with that, everybody have a good evening. Hunter, thank you again. We'll see everybody in the chat rooms.